Hello, my name is Amber Gerard. I'm part of the United States Air Force, and this is why young couples are choosing to not have children in the United States right now. Oh, for the first time ever, women born from 1990 to 1995, who are about 30 years old right now, are childless. More than 50% are childless, which has never happened before in the entirety of this data being recorded. And scientists are freaking out, why aren't women having children anymore? We need women to have children to support the current population. And there's multiple factors that are going into it. One of the biggest ones being the cost of living. The cost of living right now is ridiculous in the United States. 61% of Americans have reported living paycheck to paycheck, which is absolutely unheard of. And we know this is true based off of just social media posts of people breaking down in their cars on TikTok. Especially, we see these personal stories of people just saying they cannot afford groceries right now. I went on Walmart.com and a can of baby formula was about $40, which is pretty up there. And if you work a minimum wage job and working $8 an hour, that's literally 4 hours of work for a can of baby formula. And daycare also is very expensive, with the average being about $216 per week per child. And that could change based off of what state you're living in or the age of the child, which is, it's so big chunk of your paycheck. So you got a fourth of your own income going to childcare, a fourth of your income. And people just can't afford that. There's no way they could fit this in their budget, which is why they're choosing to not have children. They're already stretched thin. They don't want to stretch themselves thinner. The next thing is that the lack of government support is just ridiculous. There's no support for young parents in the United States. All of these countries in the European Union will offer some kind of financial incentive for young couples to have children, whether it be through a pension or some kind of paycheck or a monthly due or a stipend. The United States doesn't offer any of that. And on top of it, the United States also does not offer any kind of paid maternity leave to new parents. You are not guaranteed pay, and if it is paid, it's going to be through your employer, versus in European Union countries, a lot of it is paid through Social Security, or the employer is legally required to pay you. The FMLA Act is the only law in the United States pertaining to maternity leave, and it's very broad. It doesn't cover any kind of private companies. It doesn't cover companies with under 50 employees. And also, if you have not worked there for a year, the FMLA Act does not apply to you, and you do not get any kind of those benefits. So the average savings for the American family is $3,000 right now. So on top of living paycheck to paycheck, now you have to try and afford a parent not working for 3 months on your 12 weeks of supposed maternity leave that you might get, and afford a child and still afford to stay afloat on minimal savings, which is why people are not having children. They simply cannot afford it, and there's no kind of government fund to help them afford it. So why would you put yourself in a more of a struggling position to have a child if you cannot give them the quality of life that they deserve? Another issue about quality life is the concerns around climate change, which is massive right now. Will there be a planet left? Gen Z certainly doesn't think so, because 40% of them are not going to have children just based off of the current climate crisis. We had Hurricane Lee, we had the fires in Hawaii, the bleaching of the coral reefs in Florida, 101-degree temperatures. It's just not feasible at the moment. And on top of that, people just don't want to have children anymore. The biggest thing is a big house, a new car, and a couple of kids. And people don't want to have kids. They want to go have fun and travel, and there's other ways to get fulfillment besides having children now. Young people are choosing to travel in their 20s and 30s instead of having children, and they're also choosing education. For every 4 years that a woman spends in college, she's less likely to have a child, which is what we've been seeing as the rates go down. Also, women are choosing their careers over children, and they're finding that more people are willing to put off starting a family than risking their career and making more money. They would rather make the money first and have a substantial base and foundation set up before having a child, which is taking longer to do. So you don't see people having children until their mid-30s. And this chart is showing exactly that, how people ages 18 to 49 say they might not have any children someday, and people that already have children are saying that they're not going to have any more. A lot of one and dones over here, which is part of that decline that we've been seeing in the United States. So what's going to come of this? We don't know. This is the first time that this has really happened in society. So whatever comes of the effects of it is going to be ever going. And whatever does happen, the government's going to have to take action and figure out a new system, because without more people to replenish the population on the bottom, you're going to have a smaller amount of individuals trying to support a top-heavy population, and things like Social Security, Medicare, the aid, hospitals, they're all going to be overrun because of the aging population. So it's really just a matter of time as to what happened, and we don't really know. But on top of it all, young couples simply can't afford children. They don't want to have children because of other instances and careers, and climate change is a big one as well. So that's the big reasons why people are not having children anymore. But thank you for listening.